From Charlotte, from the Fox 46 studio, it's CSL Charlotte Sports Live.
And it's Bank of America Stadium. Panther fans leaving tonight empty-handed, unfortunately. But lucky for you, we've got the exclusives no one else has. That's why they're called exclusives. The future is now, and the future is CSL. Welcome to Charlotte Sports Live, the inaugural show. My name is Will Kunkel. That is Josh Sims. Carla Gebhardt will be along in just a moment. This is a momentous morning.
This is history right now. Charlotte sports scene hasn't been this hot since, well, ever.
Never.
And we're bringing you the biggest topics every night, and we start with two major guests. We got Panthers head coach Matt Rhule on the show, and even bigger guests, literally, like a lot taller, Hornets big man Cody Zeller on the show. We've got Panthers coverage as well, but first, some major breaking news in college football.
And of course, it's no bueno news. Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence has tested positive for COVID-19, first reported by Ian Rappaport and Mike Garofalo. Now, Lawrence is a front runner, obviously, for the Heisman Trophy, and he has not missed a game in his 3 seasons at Clemson. He's now out for 10 days based on when his symptoms began. They follow in the ACC CDC guidelines. So that means, Josh, the good news, he could be available for number 4 Notre Dame next weekend, and we are told that the symptoms are mild right now. Obviously, a tough break for the Tigers. Everybody wants to see him play, except for Boston College, who they play this weekend tomorrow. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit later in the show. But right now, we got to talk about the other cats, the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, it was a tough night for the Carolina Panthers. A lot left out there on the field. So without further ado, let's get into the highlights and figure out what went wrong tonight, Will. So let's jump right off, and things looked good early. How about Curtis Samuel with the 12-yard touchdown there? A little thriller dance afterwards. Curtis being used in so many different ways, and I love this, Will.
First half, he had 5 touches for 55 yards. Second half, no carries, 2 catches, -1 yards.
And then how about this? Dante Jackson, big play Jackson, coming up with the interception. Dante, when he's in, he makes some plays.
Turf toe ain't no thing. And then this, an absolute dime from Teddy Bridgewater. Still the first half. That means Curtis Samuel's doing things, but then they went away from him. And speaking of, Matty Ryan running away from everybody. Troy Pride Jr. kind of hit some ice patch and fell and went boom. And then they're running down our throats. What is this?
It's not good. Todd Gurley, 2 good games against the Panthers this season. And then, well, this is the backbreaker. Panthers with a chance to possibly tie this thing up if they can get the 8 points at the end. It doesn't matter. Bridgewater pressure in his face all night long, throws a pick here, and that sealed it as the Panthers lose 25-17. So this is a tough one, Will, because we were saying they were going to wake up 4-4 on Friday. We said they would be looking good if they got back to 500. Didn't account for a loss to the Falcons.
Here's the worst part. The game started out great, getting the ball to Curtis Samuel, moving the ball around, looking exciting. And then the defense doing their job. Bending, yes, but then when the Falcons got in the red zone, the defense stepped up and stopped them, forced 4 field goals on the night. But the offense was terrible tonight. We have come to expect them to be good this season. Last year, we thought, like, hey, if they were good, great.
Yeah.
This year, we expect them to be good, and tonight, national television, terrible.
Yeah, it was a struggle. Not enough DJ Moore, not enough Robbie Anderson in this game. So let's toss it to the virtual locker room, hear from head coach Matt Rhule and Teddy Bridgewater on what went wrong.
I told our guys, I appreciate our guys' effort. I thought we played hard. I thought there were a lot of guys that were thrust into action that, stepped up. And, there were guys that were playing on the punt team that were out there all of a sudden covering, and I give them a lot of credit. They went out there, they competed, and I appreciate that effort. But with all that being said, it wasn't good enough to win.
Tough loss.
Second interception for Bleedy Ray Wilson.
We just got to find ways to finish these games. That can't be the common thing around here, coming up short. So, we get this weekend off. We're at the midpoint of the season. I think it's a good time for us to just reflect, see some of the things we've done well this first half of the season, and see what we need to improve on.
All right, so last week, Carla, we're talking about the Panthers defense and the fact they couldn't stop the Saints offense. Now tonight on third down, it's the Panthers offense that can't do anything good.
Yeah, it's one thing after another with this team. So, Carla, break it down on this particular issue this week for the Panthers.
Yeah, guys, I mean, this one hurt tonight, but you can't execute poorly on third down and expect to win a game like this. And the Panthers went 2 of 10 on third down conversions tonight. Even some of the short yardage plays that we saw from them were a problem. So either way, not a pretty sight. But this also comes down to what you're doing on first and second down, too, to put yourselves in those third and long situations. The Panthers never could get ahead of the chains. And because of that, I think we saw their call sheet kind of narrow when they were on third down, which is why it wasn't until the end of the game that they were forced into the bigger plays where we saw DJ Moore finally get that big catch on 3rd and 17. So let's go back into the locker room and hear from some of the guys on this topic.
I mean, we just got to execute. Like I say each and every week. I mean, no matter how many touchdowns I score or whatever I do individually, I mean, I always feel like I didn't do enough. You know, that happened. I was in the first half. You know, we as a office as a unit, me included, we just got to execute better, and that's all that comes down to.
Last game, we were able to get them involved early. We had some big plays. We were able to get third downs converted. As I look here, we were 2 of 10 on third down. So those are things that we just can't live like that.
Yeah, so obviously third down, not pretty, but also fourth down, not that great either for this team. So what were your thoughts about this, guys?
Those fourth down calls were atrocious. They were poorly executed as well. And if you're not converting on third down, Josh, you're not going to win the time of possession battle either, especially when the other team is. And the Panthers had the ball for 13 fewer minutes tonight.
Yeah, and it just goes back to the fact that Teddy just wasn't protected well enough. He didn't have time to get the ball out. He was always just having a guy in his face, and that's a big reason why they weren't able to convert on those third downs. Protect your quarterback, #1 priority, so he then can make the plays. But if you can't.
We're always talking about complimentary football. Tonight, there was no complimentary football at all, and we saw what happened. But here's the one thing we've all been staying up for tonight. The first local one-on-one interview with the top cat himself. I went one-on-one with Panthers head coach Matt Rhule exclusively. Here's our discussion. And now it is our first ever guest on Charlotte Sports Live. All right, Matt, first of all, thanks for coming on. Let's jump right into this. Are you ready?
Sure am.
All right, is mint chocolate chip ice cream good or horrible because it tastes like toothpaste?
It's fantastic. It's elite.
Oh my gosh, I did not expect that. Why? Why do you think that?
I think it's one of life's great pleasures. A little bit of mint, a little bit of chocolate. You know, different textures. As a Penn State graduate, they have a famous creamery there, and they have something very similar, and I've always loved it.
Well, here's a Southern phrase for you. Bless your heart. Just bless your heart, Matt Rhule. Favorite Halloween candy?
Oh wow, you're just crushing me right now. You know what? I tell you what, I'm a Twizzler guy. Like if I can get Twizzlers, I'm all in.
All right. Candy corn, acceptable or obviously horrible?
No, completely acceptable, especially when it's been like sitting out for a couple days, like the pumpkin ones. You know, if you let it sit out.
You and I are not going to get along. This is terrible.
I'm sorry.
This is a hot button within the Fox 46 sports department. Ranch or blue cheese on your wings?
So I used to live in Buffalo, and both are acceptable, but the official is blue cheese.
Texas barbecue or North Carolina barbecue? And do not pander to the audience right now. The world's listening.
The North Carolina barbecue.
What do you do when you get home after a win? What's your routine? What do you like to do?
I come home and sit on the couch, and my daughters usually come in and talk to me for 3 minutes. Talk about, if it's a home game, they talk about Sir Purr, and if it's an away game, they ask me what the score was, and then I talk to my son, I answer questions from my son for the next 2 hours, and then I hang out with my wife.
What do you do when you get home after a loss?
Same exact thing. Now, you know, my family deserves a good dad, whether we won or we lost.
So that actually leads into my next question perfectly. What's a great story or a moment where you came home just mad as ever after a game, no matter the level you were at, and one of your kids may have said something brutally honest or funny, and it just made you crack a smile, and it was exactly what you needed? And I assume your son might be that person.
Yeah, so it wasn't at home. My first year as the head coach at Temple, we were 0-3, and we went out to play Idaho, and we had to win. And he just turned 16, so he's probably 8 at the time. I took him on the trip, and after the game, it was me and him in the first row of the bus, and then my athletic director and his assistant there, and we lost by 7 or 4 or whatever it was. And my son said, "I thought we had a fake punt this week." And I said, "Okay, Brian, I'll talk to you about it later." And he said, "No, but you said we had a fake punt." And I said, "Brian, the ADs, I'll talk to you about it later." And he said, "But we lost by 4 or whatever we lost by. If you'd have run the fake punt, we probably would have won." And it was at that point I realized I could never tell my son's strategy before the game ever again.
That is fantastic. Now, this is a 24/7 hour business. That's what it seems like anyway. You're always preparing for something. You're always looking ahead. When did you, and have you, gotten a moment to take a deep breath after being hired and soaking in what you've accomplished in your career? Because you went to starting at Albright about 20 years ago to a 7-year, $60 million deal with the Carolina Panthers in the National Football League. That's a heck of a journey. What did that moment look like when you actually had that moment?
I forget which game it was before. It wasn't the first game, because the first game there were so many things happening. But it was like it was maybe the Arizona Cardinal game. We were at home, and I remember just right before the game, seeing the guys and seeing the opportunity that was entrusted to me, and the responsibility that was entrusted to me to be the head coach here, and being very grateful for all the people that allowed me to get here. That gave me not only the opportunity, but that sacrificed all the players and coaches. So I think right before the game, just kind of once or twice I have a chance to take in a moment and realize, because there's a lot of pressure, and like right before a game you feel like someone's standing on your chest, and you're wanting to do everything right, but just taking 30 seconds to sit there and say how grateful you are to be in that position.
What do you do as an NFL head coach on the bye week? Do you watch all football, or do you get away from the game and do something different, or do you have no say in the matter?
I watch all football and try to do everything I can to improve the team. But when I am home, there's going to be a to-do list, and I have no say in that list.
All right, Matt, thanks a lot for coming on for CSL this week, and we appreciate it. Enjoy that bye week and get your honey-do list done.
All right, thanks, brother.
All right, well, up next, hear from Hornets center Cody Zeller, see what he's been up to on social media and what he thinks about being called the old man among his teammates.
I'm glad to call Charlotte home, and I've had a great run here with the Hornets. So I'm loving Charlotte, and I'll gladly embrace the old guy in the locker room.
More from the longest tenured Hornet is on the way.
Plus, we'll introduce you to Quick Six, the fast-paced Q&A that will ask you, should Run CMC have played tonight? More CSL next, when we wear the crown. Panthers may have off this Sunday, but Fox 46 sure as heck doesn't after Black and Blue kickoff live at 10 a.m. We have an NFL doubleheader for you. And at 1 p.m., we got Kirk Cousins and the Vikings traveling to Lambeau Field to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Then at 4:30, all of Panther Nation is rooting on the Bears. Go Chicago as they welcome the Saints. We got a huge doubleheader, basically, is what I'm saying for you this Sunday right here on Fox 46 Charlotte.
All right, well, I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the most tenured player for the Charlotte Hornets, Cody Zeller. And Cody, because you are the most tenured player for the Hornets and you get introduced this way a lot, is that starting to make you feel old at all with your teammates?
A little bit. Not many people, introduce me as the man, the myth, the legend. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I have heard the old guy around the locker room a few times now, which is a little bit weird for me. But this will be going into my 8th season, which is crazy. So I'm glad to call Charlotte home, and I've had a great run here at the Hornets. So I'm loving Charlotte, and I'll gladly embrace the old guy in the locker room.
Well, this past season, I'm sure reflecting on everything that's happened with the COVID madness from when the NBA got stopped back in March. But as far as social media content for what you did during your off time, you put out some pretty good, entertaining tweets, some good social media content. So how would you rate what you put out there for your fans?
I think I was just so bored that I was like, I just got to be doing something. So my mission initially was to learn how to play the guitar, which I'll report. I know I played maybe 7 or 8 chords. I made some good progress, and just, I've gotten to know my neighbors really well. I've been, running up and down the street, trying to stay in shape. Everyone's kind of had to get creative with workouts and everything else. So, yeah, I've had some entertaining time. During quarantine, I've tried to make the most of the situation just like everyone else.
Let's go back to September when you finally got reunited with your teammates for the mini camp inside the bubble. Was it weird to have that normalcy kind of return, or was it a relief to be back with you guys?
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. They had a great setup. We were out in Valentine. They kept us at a hotel there, and it kind of felt like dorm rooms. If you wanted to go back to your room and take a nap or sleep, then you could, but also there was a common area with TVs and ping pong tables and pool tables. So that was a lot of fun. I live alone here in Charlotte, so it was just fun to have, someone to hang out with 24/7.
I'm sure you're ready to be back with them on a full-time basis. And there's so many uncertainties going into the 2021 season. But after being with your guys for a couple of weeks, what are you most looking forward to when the season does return?
I'm just looking forward to playing basketball again. It's been since the middle of March since we played a game, and it's been a long time away from the game. Probably the most time I've spent. Even in high school and college, we always played in summer games, summer basketball. So probably the most time throughout my whole career. So I feel really healthy, but at the same time, like mentally, I just want to get back there on the court.
Well, we're going to ask you just a few fun questions before we let you go today. What's your favorite uniform combo that you get to wear for the Hornets?
Oh, I love any of the classic jerseys. It's just cool to have the pinstripes on the jerseys. I think my favorites are the pinstripe teal.
And basketball runs deep in your family. You've got 2 brothers that were also in the league. Who's the most competitive of you 3?
We are all 3 so competitive. I got so many stories of us, but everything that we did was made in a competition.
I'm sure that's interesting for your mom. Well, thanks so much, Cody, for joining us, and we hope to see you later on CSL later this season.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, we're about to introduce you to our favorite and your new favorite nightly tradition. It's Quick 6, and it features one of the biggest questions in the NBA. Will they start on time? We're bringing back the Ballers next here on CSL.
Purgatory.
All right, a live look at Charlotte's skyline from our Uptown Hyatt cam. It would look better with a Panthers win, but either way, let's get into more CSL.
All right, let's do this quick six thing, baby. This is the portion of the show where we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock and breeze through some of Charlotte's most pressing sports questions. We've got a big celebrity for this one, too. We called him in, the big guns. The Double B, Brian Blakely, Lee.
Yeah, what happened? Cam Newton and Michael Jordan not available, and it's up to me now?
No, they were available. We actually said no, but thank you. We have Brian Blakely. All right, 2 minutes on the clock. Let's put it on there. Blakely, the first question is for you.
Yeah.
Given what we know about Christian McCaffrey, should he have played this evening?
Absolutely, he should have played. They lost tonight. Of course, they needed him out there, but I'm a fan because I wanted him to play, and me and Carla have him in fantasy football teams. So, of course, we wanted him out there. But no, he's got a high ankle sprain. We know what high ankle sprains are all about, and those things are tricky. Probably need him to rest just a little bit more until he's absolutely ready to get back on the field.
All right, Carla, you're up next. Trevor Lawrence isn't allowed to play Saturday against Boston College due to COVID. Can Clemson win without him?
I think so. Boston College is 4-2 right now. The wins they do have are not that impressive. Clemson's got backup quarterback, check this name out, DJ Uiagalelei. So with a name like that, you're bound to at least win a game against Boston College. But
Wow.
Dabo says that makes Trevor Lawrence look normal with some of his throws.
Josh, say that name first.
Nope, I will not.
Josh, this one's for you. Will the NBA start its 2021 season on January 18th?
No, it will start December 22nd. They'll play 72 games. They'll be done in time for the Olympics, and the Sixers are going to win the title with Doc at the helm. Yes.
Have mercy. Brian, you're back. Will Major League Baseball fine Justin Turner for his COVID-19 after he tested positive, went down the field and celebrated with his teammates?
Oh, buddy, you got to give me the really tough one and the controversial one. You know what? Absolutely. After Major League Baseball released a statement they did last night, they came down very hard on Justin Turner. And it wasn't just because of what he wanted to just go celebrate with his teammates, which we understand because he had COVID and he also made a really bad black eye for baseball.
All right, Carla, will Cam Newton be benched if they lose to the Bills?
Cam Newton's going to be fine. You've got Jared Statham as the backup quarterback. He's been in, 2 games and has 3 interceptions and 1 touchdown to show for it. He's going to get back on track.
Josh, you get 10 seconds. South End or LOSO, baby?
Where do you live?
South End.
I want the part that you're not in. That's the one I'm living in.
This is not a mean show. This is a friendly show. No, that's not.
I've spoken, Will. I've spoken.
All right, tell us what you think about any of those questions by using the hashtag CSL and, of course, at CSL Fox 46 on Twitter. Our thanks to Big B, that is Double B, Brian Blakely. You'll be here so often. Hopefully, we'll be on at 1 o'clock every single night for you. Now, who will wear the Queen City crown tonight? We're about to give out our first ever daily MVP on the show. Who do you think it'll be? Who do you think it should be? Find out next on CSL.